my goodness, how much quicker can you get on the journey?
Yep. I mean, we've been told so I'll add a little bit of color in terms of just our funding round as well, is we've said no to 3 investments already. Why did we say no? It didn't suit us, the one, from a fees perspective. When we started looking at this fee structure, it was too expensive. They were going to give us 150K under SEIS. But the moment you started calculating in the fee, we were only going to get about 120, maybe 110 if we were lucky. So it didn't make economic sense. Then we've had an approach by a Silicon Valley investor. We said no, because again, the agreement was silly. They wanted a 6% discount, 66% discount on the next funding round. You're basically biting your own nose and cutting your own face off by going through that round. Then the other investor that we said no to was because we couldn't come into an agreement about our valuation. At the same time, when I started looking at it, the value that they were going to add to Amazi wasn't going to be there in the first round. It's only really coming through in the second round. So the group of angels that we're looking to close the round with at the moment actually brings value to Amazi as well. We're a digital identity due diligence platform. So we've got a gentleman that actually does KYC for a living. We've got a lawyer. One of our key clients are law firms. We've got a gentleman from the finance industry. We will eventually sell to the finance industry. We're actually negotiating with 105. So we're actually looking to bring in people that we can bounce ideas with fairly open and easily, but at the same time, they actually get something out of it as well.
Yeah, I think from one thing I think was worth mentioning as well, I think that we've touched this the whole way through, and you'll see this later actually at 6:30 tonight, we will be doing our hybrid raise. You're all very welcome to come along to our Zoom pitching event we're running this evening. And what we try to do with our pitching events and our philosophy at Raise around investment is that the relationship between investor and startup should be on a similar level. I think the dreadful television series, the Dragon's Den, presents a hierarchy of people with money being more important than people with great ideas and great businesses. And that upsets me, because without these great businesses and these great ideas, these people with all the money will not be able to grow and increase the value of their pot. Therefore, the relationship should be more parity of relationship. I think that is so important in all the communications and the process of the investment round. It's about finding that level, finding that relationship so everyone can benefit, because without the great ideas, that money's going to stay in dull. It's not going to grow as quickly as well as the people wanting to grow.
I think
would you feel like that, Stephen?
Yeah.
Or am I overplaying it a bit?
That leads Michael into one of the questions, with fundamental approach, how much of the market can this disruptive business capture? Without the technology, without the innovation, it's extremely difficult to capture new bits of the market. And I think, yes, you've mentioned there's dull traditional ways of doing things, but that's where the software as a service particular and soft engineering that Stephen mentioned comes into play. We're disrupting the paper processes that Amazi is working on. We're disrupting recruitment processes. We're disrupting health and safety. You name an industry, it needs disruption. It needs new technology. It needs digital transformation. And that's where all these solutions come into play.
Well, it's about authenticity at the end of the day. If the investor is authentic, and it was mentioned earlier about the honesty factor of being the real person of the right fit, because not every investor is, and vice versa, not every startup is. It's the same with the startup founder. The startup founder is honest on their journey to start with, and that's where that network really helps, because somebody somewhere is going to tell that founder to wake up. Either that's such a superb idea, you need to run even quicker, or that's ludicrous, or your attitude to it's ludicrous. But if you even take the flow that we have gone through and you consider this is the funding finance window that we're in, the meeting room, and we've talked about focusing on 6 areas where it's product technology, then we've talked about alliances and partnerships, that's a network play, then we've talked about organizational development, which is the people, which isn't the first thing. So
your journey, by the time people hear of it, is already usually founded. So the co-founder comes on at that third stage, then marketing and promotion, and then monetization. And then the final thing that we look at is investment. Investment shouldn't be the first thing, because if you're just going out for investment, then you haven't got a very great idea, or you've actually so matured your idea that you're ready at stage 6 anyway. But I think it is important to not go into a room and think the onus is on you. It's not coincidental at the very start of our conversations. We said you as a founder, startup business should be doing due diligence on every investor that you meet. And likewise, they should be on you. And even if they don't say that, they should expect it and would expect it. And Michael's bang on. Remember, TV is about drama. And despite the fact we call them reality shows, they're anti-reality shows. That is not how some, but not how most venture players, angel investors, or syndicates work. It is not what we want in the room, is drama and cartwheels across the room and Walt Disney projected slides of happiness overnight. But at the same time, whenever we get very honest or subdued founders, remember, if I want something like a 1 to 3% compounded year-on-year growth, I'm going into the stock market on gold or core assets. I am not buying a startup. Likewise, if you tell me you're going to do 1,000% and then 500% and 100% year-on-year growth, I'm going to ask you under what foundation. Cindy's approach de-risks it, not surprising for somebody with a finance background, but Cindy decided, you know what, I become more appealing and investable if I've stepped out of corporate into startup, co-founding in startup, proven in startup, and then start my own startup, and then de-risk it with a co-founder within my own startup. So there's a logical flow to that. So if you can prove how you can justify your figures, because it will come down to metrics, but those metrics come in a story and they come in a storyboard. And for those of you not familiar with, jump on to Guy Kawasaki. There's many things he does and doesn't do right as ex-Google and Apple and Canva now, but his understanding of pitch presentation and absolutely 9 slides is superb. Your story will wrap up the metrics beautifully, but it needs to be visual. But you need to realize it doesn't start, your journey shouldn't start with chasing the money of investment. Your journey should chase how you would ever get the most important investment, which is a customer's check. And if you can't flow that journey and articulate that journey, there's very few investors who want to take it, because if they do, they're there for the wrong reason. Yeah. They're there to take your proprietary technology, not you. You will be ejected from the business.
I'm going to just add on to that is just because you think it's a great idea doesn't mean it's a great idea.
All babies are beautiful.
Yes, all babies are beautiful. Absolutely. So we put Umazi through the mom test time and time and time again. My mum and my dad are not technologists at all. So I had to explain it to my mom and dad, as well as to my partner's mom and dad, to the point where they understood it. And I took the learnings from that and I put it into my pitch deck. Quite simply. If you can't bring across the message that your mom and dad or your grandma can understand it, you need to go back to the drawing board, because otherwise you're not going to be able to find funding, because you're not going to face people who always understand your product that's always in the same market as you. You've got investors that does cross-industry investing. They don't always focus just on fintech or just on travel industry or supply chain finance. They're industry agnostic. So it's your responsibility to make your product defensible and arguable.
Brilliant. Like, that is really great, Cindy. Thank you very much. And Stephen, thank you very much as well. And Jenny, I think that's been a really good chat, and I hope everyone's been given something to think about and learned a few things. And are there any final comments, questions, queries, or anything? Just to reiterate, 6:30 this evening on Zoom, we'll have a pitching event, hybrid here in the office and on Zoom, and we will be having MyPam, which is a great recruitment talent management platform. We have a fantastic cybersecurity firm. is it Cysbrick or I always get she's got two brands. I always get the wrong one. Which one is it?
Cybrisk.
Cybrisk pitching, who are developing a fantastic insurance cybersecurity tool for the insurance industry. We have a company from Germany and Kenya who are helping retail in Kenya and across Africa. And Big Society, who Jenny knows very well, who are doing WhatsApp Dominoes, yeah?
Yeah, they're doing a society network effect in terms of recyclables. So using your community centres, your leisure centres to be able to create small markets for recyclable products. So using the network effect to help reduce waste. So there's some great exciting companies. And I think, from a finance and funding perspective, for anybody on the call thinking about it, reach out, ask people who've been there and done it. It's not until you go through it that you realise all the boxes that you need to tick and the documents that you need to create. So it can take time. So I think, always try and raise twice as much money as you need and you understand it's going to take twice as long as you think it might take. So that would be my finishing comments on today. Cindy or Stephen?
Get your SCIS sorted early. Get your SCIS and EIS sorted early. As soon as you set up the company, apply for it, get that sorted early.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Cheers. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. See you back in. Bye everyone. See you back in the main room.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, Mike.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Recording in progress.
Hello, everybody. Just
Hello.
joining back into the main room. I hope everybody enjoyed their sessions this afternoon. We had some really good chats in our funding workshop. How did the sales, how did the product and team go? Alistair, David?
Yeah, loved it. Absolutely loved it. I'm going to say that, aren't I? Because I'm hosting it. But maybe I should ask someone that was on it that was listening in. Michael Faulkner, your name is there. Michael, you were in. Did you get anything from it, and was it of benefit?
Hi, Alistair. Yeah, I was in the product and team.
Oh, sorry.
Room. I didn't get a chance. Yeah, I have it in the wrong room. So
It was Martin. Martin Gilchrist.
Alistair, there with you. We're going straight to the boy from Derry, trying to get a wee bit of support from the Northwest. I know your game.
Yes, Alistair, just for feedback in relation to the room, I thought it was very, very good. It's brilliant to get real experience from people who are really at the coalface in the industries or in, or maybe a few steps ahead of where we would be in our scaling process. So, there was quite a bit of time there as well to get quite a bit of opinion and stuff, and you went through, I think it's 3 or 4 different subjects in that time, so very worthwhile. Thank you to you and the other ones that were participating.
No, thank you, Martin. Thank you, Jenny. There you go. That was
Brilliant.
the Vox Pop.
Yeah, and thank you. I think Michelle was in ours. So yeah, Michelle, if you want to give any feedback of our funding chat.
No pressure, Jenny, or anything. Thanks, Drew. No, I thought that was very, very useful. Actually, I've been scribbling furiously down lots of different notes because I'm involved with a startup at the minute, and we're at very, very early doors. So, just to have the advice around the attitude that we need to have and how important the actual team is as well. I think that's fascinating to hear that sometimes it's the personalities that can win over investment just as much as the actual idea. So all of that was quite confidence building, actually, just to have a bit more background and something to work towards. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
No, thanks for your feedback. And David, how did your room go? Obviously Michael was listening in. You had some great speakers in there too.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was brilliant. The insight and all the speakers answered the questions really, really well. I actually thought we were going on to 3:30, so we actually just got caught off just before we even get finished. So I think we could have talked for another half an hour or so. But everyone was really good. It was really enjoyable. We talked about scale and product. We talked about building teams, and we ended up talking about diversity there. So it was a great conversation all around. I'm really looking forward to watching the rewind.
Brilliant. And Michael, if you were in that room, do you want to give us feedback behind on product and team?
I'm just searching for the mute button there. Yeah, it was a great talk. The guys were talking about a number of things in terms of rollout of MVPs. I really liked Scarlett's on the Clough Edge part of the conversation and the push the live button. You know, when is the product ready? And there's a lot of soul searching. You know, we're working on Broker IQ, and we've just done that. So reliving that experience was good. Yeah, thanks for everybody on the call. It was really, really worthwhile. There's some things in there I'm going to take back to the team.
Brilliant. No, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much again to all our speakers. I'll work along our list who we can see on the screen. Thanks to Richard, Scarlett, thank you. Thanks to JP and Susan, thank you very much. Thanks to Anne and Cindy and Stephen Houston as well, who are on our calls. And I'm just quickly checking to make sure I haven't missed everybody. So as you can see, we had a really good range of speakers today, and I think hopefully that came to the forefront of the real life experience, and hopefully we'll get the videos updated and let everybody rewatch and rewind and get some hints and tips. So yeah, we'll finish up there today. Thank you very much from Raise for all our speakers, and thanks to Alistair for helping pull together the event and for helping us promote it. Alistair, do you have any finishing comments?
No, just want to come back to Michael, who just joined us on day one of his journey. Michael, you asked the question, what do I need to do? Just joining these things, just learning and soaking up information. And Michelle, you picked up on it in terms of the investment process and learning. It's just one big learning curve. I didn't know what the word startup meant 5 or 6 years ago. And now all of a sudden, after 5 or 6 years of doing work in the space, people ask me for that advice. So don't worry, you're the best person in the room for knowing what you're doing. And that will mean that it stands you in good stead for what happens next with your business. And that's the most important thing.
Yeah, can I just say something? And thanks a lot for that. I wish I could have been in all 4 rooms at the same time, but I obviously can't. So I look forward to the recording. It's very, very useful. Thanks for your time.
All right, guys, just to finish up, so for our Raise Roundup, we have our Raise pitching event this afternoon or this evening at 6:30. If anybody wants to join, you can check out the details on our website. And obviously we do have our Raise Accelerator programme open for the autumn intake. So again, details are on our website, Raise-Ventures, and there'll be lots more exciting events happening sort of towards the end of the summer and into the autumn with ourselves and with Starticus. So keep an eye out and build your network, because your network is your net worth, as they say. So thank you very much, everybody, and a round of applause. Well done.
Cheers, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
Thanks a million.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks so much for the day. Brilliant.
Bye.
Recording stopped.